This is VOA News. I'm Marissa Melton. The second gentleman of the United States paid a somber visit to the former Nazi concentration camp Auschwitz-Birkenau in Poland, marking the 78th anniversary of the liberation of the camp. AP correspondent Sarah Naffa reports.
Doug Emhoff told reporters that he will never forget his emotional visit to the site, where he saw children's shoes and human hair stripped from people before they were murdered in the Nazi German death camp. Emhoff was at the site with the U.S. ambassador to Poland, Mark Brzezinski. They laid a wreath at an execution wall and listened to survivors recall what they had suffered there. The wall has become a focal point for commemorations at the camp, with several other groups also gathering to pay tribute to those who were killed. Among those visiting was Yossi Mikal, a teacher from Israel, who said he was at Auschwitz-Birkenau to remember the Holocaust.
To remember the Holocaust in this place.
Today, the site, with its barracks and barbed wire and the ruins of gas chambers, stands as one of the world's most recognized symbols of evil that has been a site of pilgrimage for millions. Emhoff is the first Jewish spouse of either a U.S. president or vice president. He is on a 6-day tour of Poland and Germany, meant to further the Biden administration's work fighting anti-Semitism. I'm Sarah Naffa.
Tens of thousands of Israelis flocked to Tel Aviv on Saturday to protest against judicial reform plans by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's new government. Protesters say those plans will threaten Israeli democracy. Here's protester Tamar Levinson-Arnetta.
I came tonight to demonstrate and to make sure my kids have a future in this country. I believe that democracy should stay. I believe that what our current Prime Minister is doing is wrong.
The plans have sparked fierce debate in Israel, prompting large weekly demonstrations in Tel Aviv and other cities, with more than 100,000 protesters attending last week's demonstration. This is VOA News. The U.S. Population Center is now on track to shrink in the South this decade. It's the first time in the nation's history. AP correspondent Jackie Quinn.
Last year, the South outgrew other regions by well over 1 million people. Based on population estimates from the U.S. Census Bureau, births outpaced deaths. And there were higher numbers of domestic and international migration. Experts aren't sure if the dramatic pull to the south is a short-term change because of the COVID-19 pandemic or a long-term trend fueled by a mix of housing affordability, lower taxes, and the swell of baby boomers retiring to warmer climates. Among the 10 U.S. states that saw the highest growth last year, Texas, Florida, North Carolina, and Georgia, while the Northeast and Midwest lost residents. I'm Jackie Quinn.
Italy's prime minister has held talks in Libya with officials from the country's West-based government focusing on energy and migration, top issues for Italy and the European Union. During Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni's visit Saturday, the two countries' oil companies signed a gas deal worth $8 billion to develop 2 offshore natural gas fields, the largest single investment in Libya's energy sector in more than 2 decades. A top aide to Ukraine's president says Kyiv and its Western allies are engaged in fast-track talks on the possibility of equipping the invaded country with long-range missiles and military aircraft. Mikhailo Podolyak, an advisor to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, said Ukraine's supporters in the West understand how the war is developing and the need to supply planes capable of providing cover for the armored fighting vehicles. Podolyak said in remarks to the online video channel Freedom on Saturday that some of Ukraine's Western partners maintain what he called a conservative attitude to arms deliveries. The head of German arms maker Rheinmetall has told Reuters that the company's ready to greatly boost the output of tank and artillery munitions to satisfy strong demand in Ukraine and may start producing HIMARS multiple rocket launchers in Germany. The news comes just days before Germany's defense industry bosses are scheduled to meet new defense Minister Boris Pistorius for the first time. The exact date for that meeting has yet to be announced. Pistorius aims to kick off talks on how to speed up weapons procurement and boost ammunition supplies in the long term. And Chinese state media say Lunar New Year holiday trips inside China surged 74% from last year after authorities scrapped COVID-19 curbs on travel, but the number of journeys was still only half of pre-pandemic levels. I'm Marissa Melton, VOA News.
Please subscribe, like, or comment. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Patrick. I'm an American. I grew up in the U.S. I am a professional English language educator with extensive experience in teaching English, especially English for academic purposes, test preparation, and general English to university students and adults